Hello there, my name is Lamin Jai. This is News Review. Thank you for joining us on the show today. General Lamin Bojang and his ANRD endorsed President Adama Barrow. That's the breaking news. He just got out of a meeting with President Barrow and spoke to reporters. We have that report for you there. But also, DOI has unveiled its manifesto. This is coming hot on the heels of the IEC clearing Halifa Saleh. Also, Ministry of Tourism is on a two-day validation of the tourism policy for 2021 and 2022. We have a report for you on that. Also, peace ambassadors of the Gambia have spoken to the press after observing the nomination process. These and more, quickly, we will look at the newspapers for today. Beginning with the Standard newspaper, they are also reporting on the nomination there, saying IC nominates 6, rejects 15. Only 6 of the 21 aspirants seeking nominations have been cleared to contest the 4th December presidential election. They included Usainu Daboy of UDP, Adama Barrow of NPP, Mama Kandi of GDC, Halifa Saleh of DOI, Abdullah Jammeh of NUP, and independent Esa Fall. IEC defends rights of candidates to privacy. Pawakan Khan, the spokesman of the IEC, has said that candidates have a right to privacy, especially when it deals with their assets. Mr. Khan was replying to queries by the media and some members of the public who went to the public scrutiny of candidates' papers, only to be told that they were not allowed to take pictures or photocopy any of the documents. Ganu, 5 others joined NPP, while leaders, that is the rejected leaders, have all been flocking to President Adama Barrow. So the Standard is also reporting that Ganu, 5 others joined NPP, saying the National People's Party has taken the first spoils from Saturday's nomination, as 5 presidential aspirants, including one who was disqualified by the IEC, have endorsed President Adama Barrow. Gambia Alliance for National Unity, that is Shetijan Hydra, Tamser Jase, Matthew Gomez, Dr. Amadou Kante, and Mamadou Ba, and Mamadi KS Kamara have all hopped on the white horse as the ruling NPP increases its numbers ahead of the December polls. That's the Standard newspaper. The Point is also reporting on the nomination there, pretty much the headlines for today. Barrow, Dabo, orders nomination approved. So we'll leave it at that for the newspapers. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. First, the breaking news. General Lamin Bojang is the latest leader to endorse President Adama Barrow. He just met President Barrow along with his officials of the ANRD, his party. He spoke to reporters. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. This is the ANRD led by my humble self. It composed of members of our executive, our council of elders, and also our regional representatives, district and wards representatives. You are aware that it has been rumored of recent that ANRD has already thrown their weight behind NPP, even though the process was in the making. Rumors have it at the public domain that that was what was happening. ANRD, we were working on certain things to choose where we feel comfortable, where we feel that we can also add value to the national development. And for us to be able to do that, we have engaged, or other parties have engaged us to discuss generally those terms. And after series of consultation with other political parties, and also after laying down their conditions to us, we unanimously, with ease and comfort, chose NPP to be the party that we are going to align with, and then we are here this evening to endorse the candidature of His Excellency Mr. Adama Barrow. ANRD is going to throw their weight behind NPP, is going to join NPP for December 4th election. And ANRD accepted and endorsed the candidature of Mr. Adama Barrow, who is the Secretary General and flag bearer of NPP. And therefore, our presence here today is to inform the general public that ANRD is in collaboration and has endorsed the candidature of Mr. Adama Barrow as the flag bearer of NPP.
General Lamin Bojang speaking there after endorsing President Adama Barrow, the latest leader to do so. Well, Sidinjai, the deputy spokesman of the National People's Party, has been the official who has been guiding all these leaders as they meet the president. He too spoke to reporters.
On behalf of His Excellency the President, the National People's Party and the Grand Alliance, we want to welcome ANRD party leader, retired General Lamin Bojang, and the entire executive. His Excellency the President takes solace and pride in the decision that General Bojang and his party executive took, which he described as a bold decision, noting that at this crucial moment for General Bojang and his party executive membership and supporters to choose NPP, it means a lot for us. It indicates that the President and his agenda has been on the right track, and General and his team are committed to working with us closely in ensuring that President Adama Barrow emerge victorious in December 4, 2021 election, inshallah, and to work beyond 2021 election. The President is of the conviction that this is a right direction, a decision that is in the best interest of the country, a decision aimed at continuing socio-economic development. General Bojang and his team hail President Adama Barrow for his infrastructural development, particularly his hometown of Burfoot, which among hosts of other reasons why they arrive at such a decision. As a party, the entire national executive, membership and supporters, we welcome them and assure them that our doors are opened and that the instruction of our party leader is for us to work in unison and to work as one team, to move out there as all want in the best interest of the country. Gambians have decided that His Excellency the President will emerge victorious on December 4th, inshallah.
Away from that, the nomination process or exercise dominated the headlines for the past days. Well, the civil society also played their part in terms of monitoring or observing the process. The peace ambassadors of the Gambia participated in the monitoring or observation of the nomination process. And today, their officials briefed the media regarding how their monitoring or observation went about.
Peace Ambassadors Gambia, an international peace education and advocacy organization operating in the Gambia, has on Monday, 8th November 2021, updated the press about its pre-election observation findings. Key among the findings including the punctuality of the Independent Electoral Commission officials, a supporter caught with a knife, and the role played by the security sector. The group, however, noted that there was a fast pace between the observers and the IEC officials, preventing them from seeing which document was submitted by the aspirants.
The Peace Ambassadors Observer reported that the IEC office opened on time daily with the returning officer and other IEC officials present to receive nomination papers. The observer also noted the vast space between where observers were seated and the IEC tent where the nomination papers were submitted. This prevented observers from generally observing which documents were being submitted in the package.
Peace Ambassadors Gambia also observed and reported that the security sector did a great job in ensuring the safety of everyone present. According to the group, A supporter was seen bearing a knife but was immediately arrested.
Peace Ambassadors, the Gambia Observer, also reported the presence of national security personnel at the IEC office during the nomination process, including members of the Gambia Police Force, Gambia Immigration Department, and the Gambia Prison Service. According to the Peace Ambassadors Observer, aspirants were accompanied by private security and large crowds supporting them during the submission of their nomination papers. There were no instances of violence observed. Only in one instance, a supporter was seen bearing a knife and was immediately arrested by the state security. Further, all aspirants were treated equally according to the laws of the Gambia during the submission of their nomination papers.
It also reported that COVID-19 safety regulations were observed while commending the presence of the media, disseminating information to the public. The president of Peace Ambassadors Gambia used the opportunity to advise the general public to put Gambia first and maintain the peace.
And to conclude, as a peace education and advocacy organization who is not only doing election observation but also advocating for peace, we will use this opportunity to encourage all political parties as they start their campaign tomorrow to abide by the code of conduct by the IEC, which include being respectful to the rules, the laws of the Gambia, and avoiding hate speeches and also use of foul or defamatory languages during the whole process. Because what matters at the end of the day is this is the Gambia that we all have, and what they are all aspiring is to get us to the good Gambia that we all yearn for. And therefore, all process we encourage them to go smoothly. Whereas rival parties may meet on the way during the campaign or may come across paths during the campaign, what we expect is let them see Gambia and not any other thing, and interact, entertain themselves with one another, and pass without committing any violence.
Peace Ambassadors Gambia has been in existence since 2001, focusing mainly on peace, education, conflict resolution, youth and civic empowerment. The organization has over the years received accreditation from the Independent Electoral Commission to serve as an election observer group in the presidential, parliamentary, as well as the local government elections. TFN News Review, Mati Senghor.
DOI has unveiled its manifesto, hot on the heels of the clearing of their leader, that is their standard bearer, Halifa Sallah. Halifa Sallah was cleared by the IEC on Saturday, and on Sunday, the party unveiled its manifesto. Christian Conte reports.
The People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism has officially launched its party's 2021 manifesto. The 33-page document is an extensive presentation of the party's desire for system change, which would lead to a better and fairer Gambia. Honorable Halifa Sallah is the party's presidential candidate. He says the manifesto reflects the suffering of the Gambian people and what ought to be done to address these issues. Key among the promises is the introduction of a universal citizenship education.
The manifesto says our primary objective is to ensure the sovereignty of the Republic, but also the sovereignty of the people. We will introduce universal civic education, citizenship education in all our school system, so that every Gambian will know how our nation emerged and will know one's rights and duties within our nation. We're saying that we must treat the Gambia as a community of citizens, equal in sovereignty, irrespective of religion, ethno-linguistic group, whatever divides, because each person is a depository of the sovereignty of our motherland. So we are saying that there is no minority in this country. Everybody belongs to the majority, and the majority constitutes the citizenry.
He further highlighted the 7 components in the manifesto, describing them as key drivers for the whole development of the country.
The manifesto has 7 components, and these are drivers of the whole development of our country. There is the political component, the economic component, the social component, the civil component, the cultural component, the ecological component, and the external relations components. Each of those components has what we call policy directives, strategic objectives, programs, institutions, and action plans. Those elements constitute the locomotive that will help us to implement every element that we have in the action plan.
He revealed that the DOI party presidency will only seek one term and pave the way for a constitutional evolution. On the economic front, he said that the DOI party will focus on building a self-reliant economy aimed at eradicating poverty and ensuring prosperity, equity, and sustainable development, promising to start the journey to see that the Gambian people are lifted out of poverty, starting with the ability to feed themselves.
To put an end to self-perpetuating rule, the DOI presidency in 2021, if selected, would actually commit itself to a one-term presidency. And as a force of example, will move towards constitutional evolution to establish a two-term presidency. That is what is in the manifesto. That new constitution will involve the people in all branches of the state. There will be a presidency, advisory committee that will be selected by civil society that will meet with cabinet quarterly in order to indicate the general concerns of the population, and that will be constitutionally established. That committee will be given right of hearing at the National Assembly so that they'll be able to table their reports. Currently, only National Assembly members and ministers can table report before the plenary. The Constitution should change.
Honorable Halifa Sallah went on to note that his presidency will ensure that the state exists for the people and not the people for the state, underscoring that government is not an end in itself, but a means to promote liberty, prosperity, and dignity. Reporting for the Fatu Network, I am Christian Conte.
Elsewhere, the Ministry of Tourism is on a two-day validation of the tourism policy for 2021 and 2022. The opening ceremony was held today at the Sadauda Kereba Jawara Conference Center in Bijilo, as Dauda Balde reports.
When I took over this ministry in 2017, I realized that there was no document in place used as a guide to run the tourism sector. The policy have expired over 20 years ago. And I realized also in the National Center for Arts and Culture, there was no document. That one expired as far as 1980 something. Then I wondered, how can you run an institution that does not have a strategic policy in place to guide you, to lead you, to attain the goals that you want?
The global pandemic has battered the global tourism industry, one of the key drivers of Gambia's economy, contributing a significant amount to the GDP each year, with investment and job creation declined significantly in 2020. On Monday, 8 November 2021, the Ministry of Tourism and Culture held a two-day validation forum at the International Conference Center for the draft National Tourism Policy and Strategy 2021-2022 with stakeholders in the tourism industry. The event was attended by senior government officials and other stakeholders. The validation seeks to improve the tourism industry. Speaking at the event, Hamad Nkeba, Minister of Tourism and Culture, said the tourism industry continues to play a tremendous role in the development of the country. Minister Ba thanked the UNDP for their continued support to the industry while announcing the commencement of the tourism season.
We believe that we've got 19 chartered flights. Total of 53 flights will arrive at the Banjul International Airport. That's almost close to 57 flights we had before the COVID. So we believe that if all goes well, this country will start seeing the glory of tourism by end December, beginning of January, depending on what happens in our international source markets. the COVID situation. But I have a feeling that COVID will never go away.
The tourism minister called on the stakeholders to make the best use of the document while assuring them that it will be reviewed every 6 months. Barr called on citizens to take ownership of the tourism industry by promoting investment. He added that many will never want to invest in the tourism sector until foreign investors chip in. He further made an announcement on promoting domestic tourism within African countries.
We felt that there was a need to domesticate the route between Banjul and Dakar. It's a 20-minute flight, at most 30 minutes. What we realize, you can fly Abuja, Lagos, for $100, at most $150. We realized the route between Banjul and Dakar was $300 plus, which was about 25 minutes. We approached the Senegalese government as far back as 2017. Say, why don't we domesticate this route? Because our interest as a country was to start developing domestic and regional tourism. And what we realized in the Gambia, there is a missing link. We find it difficult to fly out of this country. Our air tickets are almost more expensive than Dakar by 15%, most minimum, sometimes even 20%. You buy a ticket cheaper in Dakar than in Banjul. We couldn't explain this. When you ask the airline, they tell you don't have volume. 2 months ago, we signed the document, and today, the route is domesticated. I was with a friend in Jeddah who told me he bought his ticket less than $100 online between Banjul and Dakar.
The forum aims at having a document that is inclusive, leaving no stakeholder behind. Francis Njai is the chairman of the Gambia Hotel Association. He said the forum is significant to enhancing a better tourism season. He expressed the association's appreciation to the government through the Ministry of Tourism and Culture for supporting them during the coronavirus pandemic. According to Francis, it is the role of every citizen to promote tourism in the country. He used the occasion to plead for support from the National Assembly.
We wish to appeal to the National Assembly and all relevant stakeholders to consider moving the presidential election dates from December to a period outside the tourist season.
Representing the UNDP resident coordinator, Abdullah Jane, delivering his statement via Zoom, highlighted the support UNDP has been offering the tourism sector during the pandemic. He also assured the gathering of the UNDP's commitment to supporting the tourism industry.
We are also supporting the planning unit of the Ministry of Tourism and Culture in terms of capacity building and enhancement of the sector. UNDP will continue to work with our like-minded partners, such as the International Trade Center and the World Bank, in supporting non-state actors in the tourism sector as well, through their association and networks.
Various speakers described the event as historic while expressing their profound gratitude to the Tourism Ministry for the timely validation which is aimed at promoting the tourism sector. The draft National Tourism Policy and Strategy, if successfully validated, will be in use until 2030. Reporting for the Fatu Network, I am Dauda Balde.
Thank you very much. So today, my guest will be Marisok, one of the 26 candidates, leaders who applied for the job of president, of course, through the Independent Electoral Commission by way of filing in their nomination. She was one of the 26 candidates who did that last week. Over the weekend, the names of those that were nominated, those that were duly nominated, were read out, were released by the IEC. Mrs. Sok, unfortunately, could not pass the nomination test. Her nomination was rejected by the IEC. She will be my guest today, the only woman who was in this contest. And in fact, I was the very first person way back in May 2020. I was the first to interview her. I'm here again, Mrs. Sok. Thank you for speaking to me.
Thank you so much, Lamin, and welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So it's adieu for you regarding this election, regarding politics 2021. First of all, let's begin with the decision of the Independent Electoral Commission in rejecting your nomination. Do you agree?
Yes, I do agree. It is no fault of theirs, really, because it was well stated in the Constitution that as a dual citizen, you cannot contest. The reason why I was also trying to renounce my citizenship, and unfortunately, it just did not go through. This is one of the reasons at the last instant, I still had documents to submit, which was my asset declaration and just few stuff. But the main thing that I needed to submit, which was my renunciation, either a receipt or whatever, at least just to show that the process is on, I couldn't get that. So that is one of the reasons I didn't take the rest of the documents, in, because if I didn't get that, there was no point submitting the others without, again, going and, getting half done. So on my case, really, it has nothing to do with the IEC. Although, I must say that we need to really look into the Constitution. We have children that are our children, Gambians, and they're born in Europe, or they're born here and raised over there, and we need inclusion. You understand? This is heartbreaking. Some of us have to renounce our citizenships just to help and to prove a point. And if we want change, sometimes we have to make that sacrifice, but it is a costly sacrifice. And I think Gambia has come to a point where when we want everybody to be inclusive, then we need to be a little bit lenient on that side, which is to look at that particular law, especially knowing that most of our people are in the diaspora.
So your nomination was rejected. You were talking about citizenship, but the IEC steered clear of that. What the IEC advanced as the reasons for why you were rejected has to do with the issue of support, the signatures, as well as asset declaration.
Well, when I went there, I was one of the first people to go in. Yeah. I was out of town.
Yeah.
So when I came back, unfortunately, my team did not get all my signatures, and they lapsed on that. That's the fact. But then what I did a double take. We had to send somebody all the way to Basse. We had to send to Kawur. Last minute, they slept over. But we did get them. We did get all of them. But like I said, the reason why I did not take those, because when I went the first time, if you notice, I took what I could get at the time that I was in town. So what I took was, I paid the tax, I got my tax clearance. I also paid the fee at the bank. I also got everything else pertaining to my colors, my manifesto, and all that. What I was still missing was my, asset declaration, the forms, and also my renunciation. If you look at the tax declaration, I did say that the JP said to come on Monday because he didn't know that I needed it for Saturday. So that also hindered me doing that at the time. So these are things, like I said, I got all of that then because that's one of the reasons I asked, what's my deadline? Deadline is the 5th. So deadline is the 5th. I wanted to make sure I got everything else that I needed. So everything else that I needed, I got. But I never got the chance to renounce my U.S. citizenship.
And then you made history by becoming the first Gambian woman ever to walk through the gates of the IEC to tell those officials, here are my documents. Yes. I want this job. How did you feel that day, that fateful Saturday?
That day, to be honest with you, Lamin, when I was walking through with the police and the escort, I was elated. I felt I'm doing something for that girl child. I felt I was doing something for all the young women, not only in the Gambia, in Africa, because I know everyone was following me, everyone was watching me, and I made that statement. And I also went with my short hair. And the reason why I did that was also to make a statement.
To put out a statement.
Because the statement was, let us accept each other. Because the new generation coming, they're going to come in all styles.
Right.
And we need to be we should be, when we talk about inclusivity,
as a society,
when we talk about diversity, that is what it means as a society. And Gambia is changing. We have a lot of young people studying abroad and all that coming home. It's not about my hair, it's about what I can do. It's about what I can deliver, what I can do for my country, and what comes out of my mouth.
Right.
So that particular day, I was really happy that I could make it that far with all the challenges. Trust me, I mean, I went through a lot of challenges in my camp, but I still went through and I did it. I said, if today is the last day, or if this is going to go wherever, then so be it. But I did it for that girl watching me and seeing me go through that and say to herself, wow, I can do this too.
Do you think you could have done better in getting, in avoiding getting disqualified?
Yes, I could have if I didn't travel. If I didn't travel, I could have done it, because I am a hands-on person. I do not wait for anyone to do things for me, because most of the time you have people around you that are not so reliable. And I do a lot of things to the point where they said, allow us to do things, you know. And this time I allow people to do things, and I depending on people, and I traveled. Unfortunately, things are not done the way I wanted it. But I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the negativity of that. What I did was I came and I did double time trying to make sure I get everything fast. Yeah, it cost me a lot. It cost me stress. It cost me sleepless night. It cost me money. But I managed to send people, pay for them to run and try to get. And you know, it's last minute. All the people have given their signatures already. But we did manage to get a lot of people that are our followers that were even waiting to give us their papers. Some of the papers were even stuck in the provinces. They just didn't know how to bring it or who to bring it to. So that helped us a lot. We managed to retrieve those. So like I said, if I was in town and I didn't travel, probably that all could have been resolved. Probably I could have been sitting at the American Embassy every day till they open the door. Yeah. So these are all things that maybe next time I know how to deal with it. You understand? I take everything in the positive. I mean, anything that happens, I said, you know what, I tried. I did the best I could in the short time that I had to do it.
And then you spent the past months traveling around the country, meeting citizens, trying to know the conditions that they are in. What are the lessons for Marisol?
Lamin, I have traveled prior to politics to these countries. So I know their plight. I have been to the provinces so many times, way before politics. And those years that I've been going there up to date, nothing really has changed. And I have some of them that are even here today with me, and they will tell you that they've known me before politics. And we have worked together in a lot of projects, and we are still working together. And the reasons why I keep doing this is because I know that they're going through a lot. This is one of the reasons I said, let me stand up and give them a voice. Let me stand and represent the people that we ignore most of the time. But these are the same people that we send the gelegeles to so that they can climb on these gelegeles and support and clap. But then once we win, we forget them.
Right.
And it saddens me. I mean, I'm not from the village. I was not born in the village. I was born number 2 Makati Square. But when I was a kid, we go to the village on holiday. My dad worked there for which is now Gamtel. So he made sure that every vacation we would go there. When we go there, we had the best time of our life. And it is sad that the village is neglected. It is sad that the village is not developed. Today, we can all go to the village for the weekend. We can all go and stay in nice hotels in the village and have fun and come back, you know, spend time. Then even the youths that are in the village don't have to come to the city because they already have things just like in the city. How big is the Gambia? It's beautiful. We can have so many resorts, so many beautiful places to go. So yes, I see the plight. And the plight, most of them think they have to come to the city to make it. They have to come here to do this and do that, which is all wrong. When are we going to start thinking about the people in the villages? When we have National Assembly members or we have MPs representing these people from those places, I think they should keep them there. Because when you're an MP and you sit in the village and you realize you don't have a market, you lobby to get a market.
Right.
When you realize there's no road, for your beautiful car, you make sure that there's a road. When you see that there's no electricity, you make sure there's electricity. That is the things that you will come to the National Assembly to fight for. These are the things that you will constantly fight for because you live there, so you want development to be there. But the moment if we keep allowing people, the moment they get a job, they all come here, right, we're going to be here for the next 100 years the same.
What's your take on the candidates, the 6 candidates who have been cleared by the IEC?
Well, all I can say is that maybe they all did their due diligence to fulfill what the IEC asked for. Out of the 6, I think 4 of them are veterans. They've been in the game for long, so they know exactly what is needed. The ones that are new, that also follow process, maybe they got good advice how to. But you see, for example, some of the people, like some of us, are new in this, and I think there should be a little bit more sensitization on how to do things, because you keep going asking how is this done and how is this, you know how many times I call the IEC to say what is it, you know, because we are new in that, and there should have been a little sensitization or class or whatever, even if it's just 2 hours to put us through on how to do it. I think it would have made things a little bit easier on us as well as candidates. But like I said, those people, 4 out of the 6 are veterans. They know how everything works, and it was easy for them. The other 2 as well, they did their due diligence. One is a lawyer, Fal, and he also knows procedure and all that. You know, so, and who else was that in the NPP? Yeah, most of them were already in, you know, in politics, so they already know what to do and how to do. So I think I wish them luck. I think it's great. I have no qualms on all of them. I think, you know, they stand a great chance, and good luck to them.
Has any one of them reached out to you, invited you to come and join him? We've seen some of the candidates who were in the race or now endorsing one candidate or the other. Has any one of them?
Well, we've been getting calls from most of them, and we are still talking. We are still talking to them. We have not made a decision because we believe that we have an agenda, and I stand for the people that are marginalized, and I'm not going to sell my soul just because of my interest. That's not my goal. I'm not looking for a job, but if I do get a job, it will be a job to serve the people. It will be a job where I can stand and represent the people. If I cannot have that, then we rather stand alone. People are with me for a reason. People are ready right now. They're telling me, Auntie Mary, wherever you go is where we are going. If you don't go, we will not go. So they're keeping their votes, but I don't want them to keep their votes. I want them to vote. And in order for them to vote, whoever I sit with have to also understand that I have an agenda, and there are people standing with me.
Right.
Even when I go and talk, when I come back, I talk with them. I said, hey, this is what I get from here. What do you make of it? Because I don't make decisions alone. I didn't stand alone. Alone, I would not have made it this far.
And then I have heard people say that this is now turning into, I know you are sweating, so I'm going to make this very quick.
Yes.
You have people that are saying that this has somehow turned into a 2-horse race. This has come down to two main contenders. Do you believe in this?
Well, you do have independent candidate that is strong as well. Sambaifal is out there. Doi is out there as well. But of course, when you compare as far as crowd, you have main 2 parties, which is the NPP and the UDP. So the chances that they are the only 2 is really, you know, I mean, you cannot, it's undoubtable. No, you cannot compare what they have to anybody else. But they have been around for long. NPP might be new, but don't forget that they have people from the UDP. So it's just like a split. This is one of the reasons as well they have generated a lot of crowd, and it's the sitting president. You know, so for the UDP, they have been around for many years. They have loyal, you know, when you talk about really loyalty in a party, UDP has that. They are militants. You cannot break them. You cannot say anything, and that is that is good. Yeah.
It's been a ride for you.
Yes.
What would be your message to citizens?
Well, my message is I want to thank everyone really for applauding me, the ones that applauded me, the ones that encouraged me, the ones that, you know, were there for me. I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to also encourage people to be part of politics, especially young girls, especially women. This is the time for women. We are the only ones that can make, certain laws that are in office be implemented. You see, today, a lot of people will come and say, yes, I was married and my husband left me and I have 6 kids. But what are you doing about it? we need to vote for that change. That way, that man that gave you 6 kids can pay child support, for example. That man that married you today and divorced you tomorrow, when there's laws that he cannot do that, he will think twice before he does that, because he will have to pay alimony. You see, we have to bring this system so people can begin to respect each other, you know, the hospitals, birth and all that. So what I want to leave for Gambians is look at the party that really has these things and all this in mind, that is willing to put this in place, because that is what I am looking for, to go to somebody or to go to another party, whether they really care about the people that matter, because these are the ones that suffer the most. So people have to look at these parties that really are in tune with the people that matter. And that is what you look for and you vote for. Because we have policies, we have so much paperwork. Trust me, I've never seen a country with so much paperwork. But it's beautiful. Workshops are plenty. The international organizations give money, and it's nothing but workshops, workshops, workshops. When are we going to start implementing and affecting people's lives in a positive way? When? That is what I was fighting for. And I will continue fighting, because come 2026, I will be in the race again. And I'm urging all women to stand up with me, because we need that change. Only us can make that change. We are the mothers. I don't care how big you are, or if you're a king or whatever. You came from a woman, and that's the bottom line. You came from a woman.
And you are coming back come 2026.
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you for speaking to me.
Thank you so much.
So that is Mrs. Marisak. She was my guest today. Until next time. Thank you very much. So today my guest will be Marisak, one of the 26 candidates, leaders who applied for the job of president, of course through the Independent Electoral Commission by way of filing in their nomination. She was one of the 26 candidates who did that last week. Over the weekend, the names of those that were nominated, those that were